Assalamualaikum Nabil. Nabil dah makan? Marin, hi. How are you?
Hi, sir. I'm good, sir.
Salesman. Kinsman, Atika, how are you guys? Okay?
Okay, sir.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm okay, sir.
Sudah makan? Yeah.
But not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Same here. Okay. Any questions that you want to ask? Since it's not time yet. I'm recording as usual. You can ask the copy of the recording to review later on. Remember last time we met, we have covered all the groups or yet? Not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Not even one group.
Dua je.
Dua je. Meaning group 1 and 2.
Thomas Hobbes, and I think the other one is the harm principle.
Meals. Okay. So group 1 is not yet, and then group 4 and 5. Shall we wait for the rest to come in? Any of you belonging to group 1?
Me, sir.
Siapa tu? Munira, Atika.
Atika.
Would you like to present? Or tak apalah, kita tunggu 5 minutes ya. For them to come in. Oh, ada 10 orang lah. Okay, I think we can start. I don't want to delay for those already here. Terus saya ni kan. Tadi kata 10-5 minit. Tak sabar-sabar. Tunggu je lah. Kita tunggulah 3 minit. Today. Okay, boleh guys? Shall we proceed? Okay, mana link tadi? Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can we have group 1 to present? Group 1, are you all here? Have you choose the person that is going to present on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Okay, siapa nak Jim, L Hanan Did I pronounce your name right? I'm so sorry. I'm not good at pronunciation. L Hanan L Hanan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, L Hanan, can you proceed? Oh, who is going to present actually? It's not James Siapa yang tadi cakap?
No, sir.
Who is going to present for group 1?
Me, sir, Munira.
Okay, Munira, shoot. Don't worry to make any mistakes. It's not for me to judge you, for me to correct you if there is any problem. Okay, Bismillah.
So our answer is not really perfect.
It's okay, don't worry. It's what we are learning, right? Okay, good.
Okay, basically, Hans Carlsen is a positivist,
Mm-hmm.
which his theory basically focuses on a law as a system of norm,
Mm-hmm. Good.
and he maintained that the products of deliberate human action. Can you hear the noise? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hearing some noise, but tak ganggu sangat.
Okay. He maintained that the products of deliberate human action would create the legal norm. So basically, he wants the law to not be um, contaminated with any other elements like political ideology, um, morality, or any other element.
Okay, good, good.
So, in this situation, since the law, the law 605 can be said to be
Okay.
the
Dia
act.
terus nak pergi the act. Okay, now the
Okay.
systematic. Okay, number. Okay, there are a few things that you need to do. So this is correct. What you are doing is correct. I can see that what you are saying is in line with what Kelson is saying. Now, Kelson is saying that a law must be of legal science. Yeah, you mentioned this. What you need to do is to underline or to bold the legal science, because the key word here is grand norm. Grand norm, you have to bold the
Yeah.
norm in terms of norm of the society kan, norm of action. This one is the bold, yeah, because Carlson, bila you tengok sekaligus, when you looking at that paragraph, things must be showing, it must be giving you some kind of attention. So Kelson norm, general norms or legal norms, yeah, the word is missing here, legal norm. He mentioned about legal norms. So you must, all the words, all the keywords that is being used by Kelson must be appearing in your answer. So Kelson is number one. Okay, okay, the name of that person. Second is the grand norm. Okay, okay. You mentioned about grand norm because you have to relate to the norm, legal norm that he is saying. Any problem of the society must be responded in a legal manner. That is a legal norm. So eventually, all these legal norms that we have by all the institution that we have in this country, they are getting their power from the grand meaning the highest norm of the society order. the norms of the society lah, which is the authority, the highest authority. So here what you need to do is to give example. Yeah, legal example. You must give legal example. Okay, legal example that is going to explain Granom. Okay. So can you later prepare some kind of evidence in terms of example from the legal norm? Apa you mungkin nak tanya apa legal norm? Okay, you give example here, and then you move to plus ground norm.
So the ground norm we just mentioned about federal constitution.
Yeah, you have to relate. Yeah, the legal norm. You must give 2 or 3 example that if you do some kind of tracing or investigation for this legal norm for that institution, say for example police, police institution, court institution, and then punishment institution. Kita panggil apa? Uh, apa yang kita panggil jail sentencing institution, so all these institutions are empowered by law, and these are considered as how they treat a norm, yeah, by legal way. So you give some example, and then you relate to the grand norm lah. This is number 3 is very important to show that the application of that particular Kelsen's idea into the reality that we have in our country today.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. Alright. So moving on, dia kata kat sini apa? You buat sini kata pure theory of law. Ni explanation lah. It must be above lah ya. Okay.
Okay.
Kelsen opinion of you have to put it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And the 2 elements, like in order to establish the validity of grand norm, the efficiency and the efficiency and what?
Efficiency dengan
And validity, I think. Acceptance,
Yeah,
right?
so-
Acceptance.
acceptance. So that have to be highlighted and also to be proven.
To be proven, meaning to say like add
Good
on
example.
the cases.
The add-on cases or any laws to support.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite difficult. Now, guys, I know in the exam is going to be very difficult, but this is the practice that we are doing in order for us to prepare ourselves for exam. When it comes to exam, that is the expectation. Whenever you put a person, a jurist into your answer, it is number one is to it is expected of you to be able to explain the idea, the main tenets or the main principal idea that comes from this juris, which is in this situation is grand norm lah. But by stating grand norm alone, it is not enough because you need to explain how grand norm forms. The whole the whole explanation about grand norm. Where does it come from? What is it? Why you have to have this grand norm? You have to relate it to the legal science. We don't want to have any other things to be clouded into the science of law. Because if we were to allow that, then law is not clear. It is not. It's murky, whereby people are unable to know what is the real law. Yeah. In order for us to know the real law, we have to get the law that is without any outside elements, which is like traditional tradition, or what they call it as morality. You cannot put morality into the law. The law is a science where all this explanation must be done. And then you are to support the answer by putting in examples. So, boleh nampak?
Yes, sir.
So kalau the small branches of the explanation, then you have to also explain that. Guys, if you prepare this, actually bila exam saja, this is the lower part of your, kalau IELTS lah, kita ambil IELTS kan. If this is the lower part, then you have to actually you can be ready with your answer. Okay. Kalau untuk Carlson, this is the way of how to explain. Kalau Hart macam ni, kalau Austin macam ni, kalau Akinas macam ni, your answer you can prepare already. So it's just cut and paste. Okay, but the problem is when you are trying to apply later on. Okay, in the problem, because problem you don't know what is coming in, right? Once you know about the question asking you what you need to do, then you choose your juries and then put in the answer that you already have created, and then you straight away apply. So it takes it will not take up your time. Okay, kalau lah you dapat dalam exam nanti, they are going to give you some period of time, right? I think less than a week for you to be able to complete. So if you prepare yourself in terms of what we are doing right now, so once the lower part is strengthened, then all you need to do is look at how do you apply to the problem that is given. Okay, soalan. The rest macam mana? If you have any questions, can you put in the chat? So example of granom, okay, good. There you can that you have highlighted correctly, very good. And then you have mentioned about the granom can be seen in that case. So how do you portray the granom? You have to properly explain. In this case, the regime of new granom. This is just to give after the explanation of the one that is above, yeah, to more or less identify, yeah, not only to identify but to give example of reality in terms of the application of the principle. Okay, so you bagi example, good. Now the key word that we have, the key element that we have to look at would be the application. So now how do you apply?
Um, so maybe like firstly, I will say, the grand norm is the federal constitution, and the Act 605, which prohibits the university lecturer from participating in politics, is somehow has been contaminated with politics.
Okay, good. Tak apa, it's okay. I mean, we are doing testing kan. Kita nak buat exercise kan. It's okay.
Okay.
Right.
And then because it is opposed to the right of freedom of expression in Malaysia as guaranteed under Article 10 of Federal Constitution. So this new revolution in Act 605 is not in accordance with the current norm.
The soalan dia on what? Revolution.
About Act 0605.
Tak ada mention about revolution. So remember, you cannot make that kind of mistakes. Ada tak cakap ada soalan revolution?
Oh, tak ada.
Tak ada. Don't mention revolution because it will show that you are off the answer.
Okay, so the conclusion is wrong then.
Now what you need to do is to apply. Kita tengok macam mana kita apply. Number one, if you apply, when you apply, you have to put in the person, the jurist theory. So number one, the name of the jurist. The second one, in this situation, how do you apply? Number two is what? Number two tadi?
The principle.
The grand norm kan?
And the
Mana dekat, mana grand norm kat sini?
grand norm here is the Federal Constitution, right?
Federal Constitution. Mana Federal Constitution? Tak ada kan?
Yeah, that's why
Okay,
it's not
you,
perfect.
okay. Tak, it's okay. Tak ada hal. So number one, you obviously you follow with number two, right? So number two is Federal Constitution. So you want to put as ground norm. Okay, okay. So you nak associate Federal Constitution with the ground norm that you want to talk about, and then you want to talk about the legal norm. Okay? Because once you establish the ground norm, every legal norm must conform to the ground norm. Betul tak? So if you're talking about the third one is the legal norm, then this legal norm we are talking about Act 605. 605. Okay, where the provision under the Act 605 is would if you go and do the tracing, okay, all laws or regulation or rules under Act 605 must be in line with each other. Okay, meaning the VC, if the one that is going to apply, yeah, that particular law, whatever he does must be in line with the authority that is given to him. So you don't have to worry whether you are to support the answer of your liking or not, or you want it to be directed to the answer that you like. Don't worry about that. You just apply this principle and you investigate and you look at it. So jadi macam mana? How do you see this? The situation in general.
Uh, do we need to mention like the two elements? To
Yes, yes. You have to get because the two element.
the two element is to establish the legal norm.
Yes.
Uh,
The two element is to support the legal norm, and the legal norm in collectively every legal norm akan be supported. They are to in line with the grand norm. Nampak tak? Dia macam akar pokok lah.
mm, so
Right?
that's why here like we are trying to say like the Act 605 is somehow not getting the approval from the majority of the community. So like we apply the state of Daso like as if like there is a possible protest that can happen because
Yes, that is
Ahmad
the
is not happy with that act.
yeah. And if the society, you just give an example lah, that in this particular case, people are not happy, and then there might be a revolution or action, negative action. Because basically, guys, whenever you in the position of creating a law, you must not be in the position that you are doing things that is wrong. Yeah, if you look at this approach, yeah, in terms of Kelson, right? If you are doing creating a law, maybe you are at the norm, legal norm punya part. You are in one of the institution. Say for example, you are a judge, right? If you are a judge, everything all you have to do is to monitor the legal norm that happens throughout the process of a person that commits the crime. So whether the process is intact, whether the process is being implemented, no, you are the key person to identify whether everything is running in order. So if you are talking about the police, whether the police are authorized to capture that person at that point of time, under which jurisdiction of law that they are able to capture that person. Okay, if it's legal, then therefore the next process comes in, whereby the proper charge, is it being done properly? What maybe you can add in whether he was kept in jail within within the stipulated rights of him to be detained, you know, that you learn dalam penal pula, the criminal law. Then the next process is to go to AG and things like that, right? So everyone in the process must have their own authority that they derive from the ground norm. Okay, kalau you buat tracing, it will be a thing that is recognized by the grant norm. So coming back to this person, we are talking about the question is asking you about what? The VC's action, right? Who is the playmaker or the person that is in issue here? The VC, right? A permission needs to be obtained by the VC before lecture must be right, and then mentioning that the university several provisions that prohibit university lecturers in politics feels that against taken against vice chancellor for actively campaigning for the politician, right? So di sini the main problem is the unhappiness of Ahmad towards the act of the VC. So can that action be in line with number A here, advice various jurisprudential school whether the state should interfere with the conduct of individual. Now, the word state is mentioning the authority that is given to people who are in power. X 605 is giving authority to the vice chancellor in order for him to undergo certain provision. So here, what we need to do is to talk about mana dia tadi? Sini ya. Okay, so we are talking about the VC, right? So your focus is towards the legal norm, yeah, of the VC, whether he can or he cannot do that. If you say that in certain situation VC is acting in a way that prevent other lecturers from doing their rights, but at the same time he go against the law, then you can say that the legal norm or the act of him doing something, taking action against others, is not in line with the provision of the theory of Kelsen, whereby Kelsen is saying that whatever legal norms that you have must be in line with the grant norm, whereby the federal constitution already state equality before the law. If equality before the law is the main principle that you have to uphold, and all laws that trickles down from the federal constitution must be in line with that. And Act 605 is more or less in line with that. However, we are looking at the act of the VC. So the subject matter of the problem is the VC action, whether he is acting not within the legal norms or he is acting within the legal norms. In this situation, obvious, he is not acting within the legal norms. So you can you are to be critical about it, saying that he is not, why he is not, he is not abiding to the legal norm, whereby the authority that is given from Act 605 is only stating a certain authority. So he has acted beyond that authority. Subject matter is right, equality before the law. So equality before the law, kalau kat sini nak ambil apa? Equality before. Artikel apa? Equality before the law?
8, I think.
Artikel apa? I lupa.
8 kot.
Example lah, artikel berapa kan? So you put in and then you comment on that. Equality. So bold here, the main thing that you want to investigate is the equality in the federal constitution. Whether everyone in the system is able to do justice. In this case, the VC is not doing what he is supposed to do lah. Soalan?
So the VC is actually the legal norm juga.
Yeah, because they're empowered by the law, right? Where does VC get his power? A VC of any universities must be given a power for them to do their job. A person without power is a position without without position.
So like we discussed two legal norm here, the Act
Yeah.
605 and the VC.
Yes. So ni kenapa link dia? Link dia di sini adalah FC X05. FC tu kita kata equality. Equality mesti ada dalam X605. Okay. So kalau equality tak ada dalam X605, therefore the X05 is in contradiction with the grand norm. Sebab that is the normal, that is the foundation of norm, yeah, of the society. Sebab X605 mesti ada equality, right? So kalau kita investigate 605 ada equality, then we're talking about 605 ni bagi authority dekat siapa? They must be delivering that authority to the people down there. And the most important thing is the VC from 605. Betul tak? Kalaulah VC is the one that is mentioned in 605, the authority is given to him whether he acted in equality or not. That is the question. Okay, the legal norm of him to be able to prevent people from participating in political activities must be in equality. Yeah. So nampak? Dia tak adil lah. Maksudnya dia boleh buat tapi orang lain tak boleh buat. Apa hal? Okay.
How about the Article 10 yang freedom of
Artikel 10? Artikel 10 apa dia?
Freedom of expression.
Expression. Boleh? Boleh?
So
Kalau you nak
that one relate with
Itu pun-
the provision in the Act 05, right?
boleh you comment whatever. You this is free for you to comment. You are free to do whatever you want as long as you are able to know why you are doing that. Setengah orang they argue and they don't have any basis. But once you know the basis of your argument, you can be free of critical analyzing. You know, you can comment, you can critique. It's up to you. There is nobody is to stop you because you are the one that is going to for us to mold you to be a lawyer. So a lawyer should not be bound by restriction. Okay, as long as they are able to argue and the argue has some basis, then the court must be able to accept. You know, whether the judge is going to accept properly or not, it's up to him lah. But as long as you as the lawyer, you can make your case in your argument as what you like. Okay, then you nampak tak kita dengan itu yang student law ni orang menyampah because kita can manipulate the things that we want to say. So you want to buat mana-mana elemen dalam federal constitution as this is our ground norm, right? Any law that derive from this so-called ground norm must be in line with the ground norm. So tak boleh lah legal norm somebody yang kata pegang kuasa and then dia gila kuasa, you know. We are not looking at the ultravirus punya element. He did not mention about ultravirus punya principle. Don't put in ultravirus in this argument. You must going along the line of norm, legal norm. Okay, what is the norm for us to treat a problem? We have a legal norm. What is the legal norm? Is authority that was given to a person to deal with that problem. Now, VC is given an authority for them, for him to do things. So, kalau you nak comment on Act 605, then go ahead. You know, 605 alone. Macam lah orang comment dekat ISA. ISA is against the federal constitution. Then the government can counter and say that, excuse me, it is not fundamental rights, it's fundamental liberty. Liberty is given only at times and it can be taken away. But we argue in saying that the application that was being applied by ISA towards those people who are politically, you know, based, it is biased. Then it is up to you to discuss that the act is wrong.
Okay, faham sir.
Right? Good. So right, nanti you balik pula my class kan. Nanti you prepare your answer proper. Yeah, I know everyone to be able to come up with now 1, 2, 3, trying to relate to the law yang you dah mention kat atas ni. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tetapi number 3 ni tak payahlah. Okay, sebab you dah bagi explanation. Why bagi explanation ni? To prove that number 2 is correct. Okay. Kenapa? You nak bagi number 3 because you want to prove number 2 is correct. So therefore number 3 tak perlu ulang dalam exam. Dalam exam. Apa ni? Ni. Tak perlu ulang dalam application. Okay, you don't need to do that. Number 3 here talks about the application, of the principle into the element. It's not reflecting the number 3 above. Okay. Dah habis suara dah. Soalan? Guys, the rest macam mana? Are you still here?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. So group. Yes. Soalan. Yes. Good.
Sorry, saya nak tanya for exam punya purpose, for the explanation of the juries, must it be like a detailed one, macam contoh dia positivist, panjang-panjang positivist, or straight away pergi dia punya theories?
Straight pergi teori dia.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
you are in exam, or exam ni kita tukar senario dia macam you duduk dalam court. If you are in court, you don't explain who is that person, yeah. You don't have to go to where he was born, his education, his inclination, apa semua. Those are not important. What is important? The name of the juries and the idea that he is proposing. So the idea is important to that person. That's it. So
Okay.
you are to concentrate on the general idea and elaborate the idea and then support with evidence. Nampak tak? Link dia boleh nampak chain of explanation. The name, the general idea, explanation to the general idea, and put in the authority, or evidences to support the idea.
Sir, so
Yeah.
meaning do we have to write how he came up with the idea?
No need.
No need.
That is for your understanding alone.
Oh, all right.
Okay, while reading, we need to understand, all this bunga-bunga thing. The bunga-bunga is not important in your answering. When you go to court later on, you in the federal court, you want to argue about Thomas Hope punya, any of the juries, then you want to talk about that person and the idea. Boleh? Siapa lagi nak tanya soalan?
Boleh, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alright. So jadi dah ada group 1, group 2 dah present? Belum?
Dah, sir.
Dah. Okay, good. Mana dia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ni? The bold social contract theory, this one you dah highlight kan? Tapi try to highlight lagi. Mana lagi dia punya argument? Sovereignty, keywords like that must be highlighted. Okay, kalau positivist ni you don't need to state as I mentioned just now, yeah. So whether he is positivist ke, the is ke, the odd ke, that is not important. Now, group dah habis Habis dah group tu. Meals dah habis. Dah, okay, right, good. Group 4, Had dah belum? Any members from group 4? Can you verify whether we have done this or not? Are you still discussing who is going to present? Siapa tu?
Saya.
Hasif. Macam mana nak pronounce? Hashif. Hashif. Okay, Hashif.
Hashif, saya.
Okay. Sorry for the pronunciation. Ini tak berapa ni. Yeah. Alright. Okay.
Tak apa, sir.
Can you want to present, right?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
saya. Untuk
Group 4, Right. Proceed.
Yes.
The rest kalau ada soalan tanya while Hazif presenting. Yeah, Hazif, do you have 20 minutes to go?
Okay. Okay, dah. Saya mula, sir?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Untuk group 4, untuk juris Hart. So Hart is another positivist that recognize the natural law. He's one of the East jurists in which he believes the law is what it is. Hart supported legal positivism in which laws are no more than what is formally promulgated by the legal bodies. The question of law must be separated from the question as to whether it is moral or just. Hart merely attempts to define what law it is, not what it should be or its content. Therefore, the officials should display truthfulness about the law by concentrating on what it says rather than focusing on what desire it to say. Hart's theory of law is based on habit of obedience, where there are two features of his theory which are internal or external aspect. The first is the external aspect of rule is what an outsider observes the people and their response to the rules. Meanwhile, for the internal aspect of rule is about why people obey the rule.
Very good. Now the rest of the group or class, the class members. When I mentioned about in exam, you don't have to elaborate. You do have to elaborate the idea because dia essay kan, bukannya highlight. So kalau highlight is very straightforward. So I take back my statement just now. When it comes to exam, you have to elaborate, but the elaboration must be in a sequential punya manner lah. In this situation, what the group is doing is trying to elaborate further when it comes to the concept. You can do that. I'm not stopping you, any one of you, from doing that. Yeah, it's up to you. So, but basically, you have to put in your own words, rather than you cut and paste. I don't want you to cut and paste because it does not be in line with the answer. Good, very good. Yeah, Asif. So that is the position of him. Now that is not his idea. If you look at this paragraph, it does not contain his idea yet. This is general statement of who he is and the background of his idea. Right. This is his idea. Second paragraph.
Saya teruskan, sir.
Yes.
So in the concept of law, Hart divides the rules into two parts, primary rules and secondary rules. Primary rules is duty imposing rules whereby it imposes certain specific duties upon the citizens of a state to act in a certain manner, or else they may be subject to certain legal sanction. To be effectively function, the primary rules must be supported with secondary rules so as to provide an authoritative statement of all the primary rules. Secondary is a rule which confers power and provides for the creation and variation of duties or obligation. Secondary rules addresses three interdependent issues, namely the rules of recognition, the rules of change, and the rules of adjudication. Rules of recognition here provides where a law contradicts with the constitution, then the law is invalid. On this basis, the law can be challenged under the rule of adjudication. From this, the law can be amended by virtue of the rules of changes, then the law can be valid under the rules of recognition.
Okay. Now looking at the rest of the group members, group members, the class, member of the class. Remember, whenever mentioning the key element of the idea of that juries, you must be able to highlight. Yeah, highlight means either you have to underline, bold, italic, or background color. So in this case, I just put in bold. So now you can associate. The first one that you have to bold is the name of the juries, because you don't have this in your exam. The exam tak ada, you go straight to hard. So you just highlight hard, and then you mention about the second important thing is this idea. Now he talks about the primary and secondary rules. Where is the primary and secondary rules? primary and secondary rules. This also have to be highlighted or underlined. Okay, primary rules. So people, whenever they look at this concept of law, they will see the primary rules and secondary rules. This shows that you know what you're doing. I know if you look at, if you read the whole thing, then you will be able to understand the idea of the writer, which is the group ni lah, group 4 lah, right? Tapi here what is missing is the ability for you to highlight. Yeah, why the highlight is important? Because you want it to be glaring, yeah, in order for you to understand or people to understand. Now, what is missing here is that the legal example. Okay, this is number 2, right? This is number 2. Where you are trying to introduce the concept, and then this is number 3. Okay, what is the sub primary element of the rules, sorry, of the idea, and then you want to elaborate, okay, to be primary rules. This is your explanation. Okay, you are trying to elaborate number 3, right? Primary rules to be effective. Oh, ni lah, ni number 4, right? Number 5 that is missing is okay, here. Okay, kalau kita break it down into ni, so this one number 5 here is missing. A legal example. You must be able to put in legal example to say that or to show that the theory is practically able for us to apply. Now we do have a legal example in our system, yeah, in our legal system that can reflect the primary rules and secondary rules. So di sini you letak maybe federal constitution, its relationship with as primary, you know, primary, and then you put in plus the secondary or you put in whatever lah. Yeah, you nak letak this primary, say for example fundamental liberties, okay, and then you must be able to put in secondary as the law lah, the act. What act is up to you to choose in order for you to give an example of the secondary rule where for example you have fundamental liberties, katakanlah law of tort for ataupun tak payah pakai tort lah, nak pakai tort pun boleh. You nak pakai penal code, yeah. Penal code is the one that is able to be an example for you to say that it supports the fundamental liberty. Yeah, right to property, right to life lah kata. Right to life is the one that is can be found in our federal constitution. Artikel berapa? Artikel 5. 5 kan? Artikel 5. No, this Article 5 is very important. You cannot say only right to life under federal constitution. Kena mention what article, because this is evidence. Otherwise, this is hearsay. You don't want to make a statement of hearsay dalam exam. You want to have proof. So if you go to court, you have evidences. Now, here we have a penal code, yeah, as your example, penal code. Right. So, nampak? What is missing is only the legal example. So you have to elaborate in terms of that. And then later you mention about the secondary rules must be a rule of recognition. Ni kena underline lah. Okay, this is number 1, underline. Rules of change, underline. Rule of recognition, because these 3 elements is the one that makes up the secondary rules. So you can either put in a way, ni saja I letak tapi kalau dalam exam you nak letak pun tak kisah. Okay, then the third one, okay, So each one of them have to be elaborated. You have managed to do it good in this situation. You dah kata everything is in line with each other. So you have rule of recognition together with rule of change and then rule of education. Yeah, in one sentence. However, there is something that is missing here. You have to, since you are putting up penal code as the example, you have to repeat the penal code or anything that is in line with penal code to support the three sub elements. Boleh? Maksudnya, if you have penal code as an example of the secondary rules, you have to prove the tiga-tiga rule of recognition. Boleh ya? Penal code boleh tak? Identify rule of recognition. Munira? Munira, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, kalau kita ambil penal code as the second secondary rules, macam mana you nak relate secondary rules of penal code towards rules of recognition?
Secondary rules.
Kalau kita ambil secondary rules, di sini siapa tadi? Syahid. Allah, kenapa dah teruk saya ni? Siapa yang present tadi?
Saya.
Hasif. Hasif tadi kata this is the concept, but he did not provide with the legal evidence. Now, I have given the legal evidence, and one of the example is the federal constitution as the primary rules. It have to be supported by the secondary rules. Ingat kalau ada primary rules, tak ada secondary rules, the law is not law. Okay, it's not good law. Because how can you ask somebody to do something but do not explain? Macam example, Quran cakap suruh solat tapi tak tunjuk cara macam mana nak solat. You must support it with the secondary rules, which is hadis, to support that there is how to do your solat. Okay, so jangan guna example tu solat dalam exam. That is just for our understanding. In the exam, what you need to do is to put in federal constitution as your primary rules. It must support base secondary rules. In this situation, ada penal code. My example, you can choose your example. Dalam penal code ni, Munira tanya tadi. I'm asking you, dekat mana yang penal code ni, yang I bagi example, yang ada fit in to the rule of recognition?
Wait, sir.
Anyone else that can help out Munira? You faham tak apa dia soalan I? Soalan very simple. Kalau lah kata kita bagi federal constitution as the primary rules, secondary rules mesti wujud. Kalau tidak, federal constitution orang akan tendang saja. Orang kata, what the hell you're talking about? Fundamental rights lah, right to life lah. Where can we find laws that is going to reinforce your rights to life? Tak ada. Tapi I bagi example, penal code. So dalam penal code, according to HAD, kena ada 3 elemen. Ya, the secondary rules ni kena ada 3 elemen. Rules of recognition, change dengan education. So dekat mana dalam penal code yang tunjuk the first one, rule of recognition? That was my question to everyone, especially to Munira dengan Hasif lah. Siapa boleh jawab? Tak kisah Dalam penal code, dekat mana yang you nak buktikan? Because kita tak boleh hearsay kata penal code sebagai support kepada federal constitution. Not enough. How do you saying that? No, look, I'm not saying something out of nothing. I can give you example. What is the example in the penal code? Allah. Fikir. Come on. Yes, I'm waiting. Okay guys, macam mana?
The punishment provided in the penal code.
Mana section? Remember, kita tak boleh ada punishment dalam penal code. Itu orang bukan law. Kalau kita law, kita very specific. Yes, which section? Right to life. Ya, sekarang kita ambil example satu je dalam Federal Constitution, right to life. Mana dekat penal code yang kata right to life? Kalau you boleh buktikan section tu, then the section of secondary rules can be established. Therefore, kita boleh relate secondary rules penal code tadi kepada primary rules. Mana? Section mana? Senang ni, hampa dah buat criminal law kan?
Sir,
Yes, good.
saya ke? Kalau yang section 302 yang whoever commits murder shall be punished with death.
Very good. Nampak tak? Section 302 is the one that is supporting the fundamental liberty. Kalau kita ambil penal code as a primary rules, boleh tak? Ambil section 302 as your primary rules dalam penal code. Then secondary rules, apa dia? Anyone who is committing murder shall be punished by death kan? Jadi rule of recognition mesti ada law yang recognize benda section 302 tu. Mana you boleh jumpa? Law of evidence kan? Nak bunuh orang bukannya senang, nak kena ada recognition kan? In terms of evidence law. And then kita ada how to hang a person. There must be a law how to sentence a person to death. Jadi kita tak boleh ambil pisau tikam je. Okay, nak hang pun kalau you pernah pergi visit prison, you pergi inilah apa ni? Museum Pudu tu. They will show you the gallows macam mana dia orang tali dia pun kena ada berat, dia kena ukur dengan dia punya weight. Dia tak boleh simply ambil mana-mana tali. Tali tu dah memang renounced throughout the world. Tali gantung tu bukan simple-simple tali mana-mana yang beli kat kedai hardware, tak ada. Yeah. And then dia ada procedures. Everything must be there. Everything must be written down. The procedures, semuanya is secondary rules to support the primary rules, which is dalam case ni I ambil example of penal code section 302 talks about the sentencing of death when you commit murder with intention. Then you boleh letak kata a person is not going to be punished to death because dia kalau self defense. So self defense apa dia? You carilah law of self defense. Everything it must be in line with punishing a person with the intention of killing someone, you know, and the punishment is death. Rule of change. Boleh nampak tak guys? Everyone.
Nampak sir, faham.
Faham Siapa yang tak faham? This is the time for you to ask question because I don't want you to be lost. Ramai yang tak faham, I don't want you to be left behind. Kita tak best lah kalau kita tinggal kawan-kawan kita kat belakang. Anyone? Yes, please. Belum lah, Masya Allah. Sorry guys. So we end the session today. Tolong siapkan you punya assignment pula. This thing Can you do it proper? Everyone. We want to have an answer that is able for other people to utilize. Okay. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, terlewat.
Thank you,
You ada
sir.
kelas lain.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. I will put the video recording to you later on.
Yes, sir.
Nazin, are you still there? I remove you.
Info.